So Enfield next two characters are quite crazy. They are dropping two really popular characters back to back. One is Mifu, which has already been very popular. She's like one of the first characters you meet in Wuling. And the second character, CAMILLE, is quite new, but is also getting even more attention to this game. CAMILLE actually has the highest Twitter engagement, Twitter likes or views in the Arknights Endfield Japanese Twitter account. So safe to say, new characters are mad good that are coming out soon in Enfield. So everyone has to make the biggest decision of their entire life and to pick which one should they pull, assuming you're like a free-to-play and you're not whaling. So let's look at the pros and cons of both of these characters. A brief overview for the two characters. So Mifu, to summarize, she's a physical main DPS. She wants physical teammates for the vulnerability stacks, kind of like Chun, like Pog. Her main damage is to apply crush from her battle skill and also just damage from her ult. Her main damage is going to revolve around her battle skill, which can be like combo like 3 times. And also, she could probably like slot in as a sub DPS in like a Rosie team. As for CAMILLE, CAMILLE is a Heat Vanguard character, and if you don't know what a Vanguard is, not the card game Vanguard, but Vanguard over here just means like a skill point generator, kind of like Sparkle in Honkai Star Rail. But he can also be a main DPS, as shown by the developer videos. We don't have like a clear example of how it works yet, they just show us the team. But overall, CAMILLE main's role is to be an SP generator. So Mifu, she's like a physical admin but better. CAMILLE is like Akikuri but better. We'll start with the strengths of Mifu. So Mifu, she's admin but better. Mifu, main DPS, big damage. She has relatively free-to-play teammates like Chun and Pog. As for most characters in this game, honestly, this game is very free-to-play friendly when it comes to the teammates. She can slot in as a sub DPS in Rosie. And in fact, I think people say that Rosie can also be played with both CAMILLE and Mifu. So if you're like completely new and you get to like farm all the currency, you might be able to get Mifu and CAMILLE together and they can like work with Rosie if you want to. Mifu has a unique playstyle of like pressing the battle skill multiple times. Most characters like press their battle skill once and then it goes on cooldown forever. Mifu kind of like presses battle skill and then presses it again for like combo vulnerability and then you can press it again if it consumes like 3 vulnerability stacks. So if you like the letter E a lot, you're going to like Mifu because that's what you're going to be pressing all the time. It's just going to be E, 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 E. Other than that, Mifu also has some mobility options. Her first battle skill is kind of like a grappling hook. It's either she hooks the enemies in if they're like weak, or she hook herself towards the enemies, kind of like a Attack on Titan character. And I think that's really cool because mobility in this game is quite limited. So Mifu having some mobility options could make her stand out quite a bit. And last but not least, for Mifu's like strength, I would say that she completely replaces like physical admin. So if you have Mifu, you never want to use physical admin ever, which could be good because, you know, in case in the future admin unlocks a new element or path or playstyle, which is probably going to be better. It's not really confirmed yet, so hopefully, you know, maybe the next admin element might be... I think Wuling does not have an element, really. I think the next admin, we don't have a water element. I think admin next element might be nature, because we're lacking nature characters a lot. But other than that, what are some Mifu cons? Now, to be honest, there's not a lot of weakness for like these two characters as of right now. The only like con I can think of for Mifu is that maybe she's limited to physical teams. She doesn't really... I mean, most characters are kind of like limited to their own element team. Enfield team comps lean more towards like being like mono element. So physical team will be like mostly physical. Heat team will be mostly like fire. And Mifu probably just has teammates. She's either a physical main DPS or like a sub DPS for Rosie. So the only other weakness I can think of like pulling for Mifu would be like, she would be a waste if you're already like maining or building physical admin. But I mean, you can probably transfer some of your gear over to Mifu. But I'm sure Mifu will probably have like the latest better gear. And also they have different weapons. So the only weakness would be like if you're already like maining or you really would want to play physical admin, then maybe you don't need Mifu. But moving on from Mifu, let's talk about the pros and cons for CAMILLE. So CAMILLE, think of him as, you know, Akikuri but better. He generates skill points for levitating. That's his main job, his main career. But CAMILLE can also be a main DPS with the, the popular supports, Gilberta, Perlica, Ardelia. I also seen some people recommending that if you don't have Gilberta, you could use Wolfguard. So Camille might have like a completely free-to-play main DPS team that we could try out. So Camille is probably going to be the best Vanguard for Heat teams in the future, at least for the foreseeable future. And Camille is also the first limited 6-star Vanguard. All the previous characters were like strikers or casters or main DPS or guard and like one support with Gilberta. So it might be safe to say that we won't be getting another like Vanguard SP generator character in a while. So I would say Camille is quite an important like investment to make. Although we do have a lot of like free-to-play friendly options when it comes to Vanguard. Like Ake Curry has like no downsides. Pog is really good. Pog is like the only like 6-star, but he's like standard for like physical Vanguard. And then there's like Alash for like cryo and physical. There's Arknight for lightning. And especially with like the new endgame coming out, we'll find out soon, which is in like 1 week when Mifu banner drops. So it's going to be before Camille banner. Maybe in contingency contract, there'll be like some like risk or restrictions when it comes to like, SP. So having like the best SP generator character might be very beneficial for the latest endgame. As for any like weakness for Camille, I would say that his 4-star alternative, Ake Curry, is not terrible. Quite the opposite, Ake Curry is quite a very universal support. The only problem is that she just doesn't do any damage or help with any like damage really. She can't main DPS. SP generation support are less likely to be power creep. It's really hard to like power creep SP generation unless they just make the character do a lot more SP generator. And Camille is already like a limited 6-star character, so he's already going to be a top tier SP generator. He might be like Sparkle. I think the only like next SP generator Vanguard character would be like for other elements. Like maybe the next one is going to be a nature SP generator or like a 6-star Arknight. If not, you can bet that Camille is probably going to be the best Heat Vanguard character for the foreseeable future. So verdict, who should you pull? I mean, this one's pretty hard to say, but I would just say just pick whichever design you like. If you want to be technical, pick Mifu if you want a main physical DPS and you don't want to play physical Enmin or Japan. Or if you already have Rosie, Mifu can kind of support Rosie. Not sure how like optimal it is, but you can do it. And I expect that more people would like Camille more. So the advantage of getting Camille would be if you already have a Levitine team. He's basically a best in slot for Levitine. And also if you just want to play a new male character, which is quite rare in this game now. You just want a new male character to play, definitely go get Camille. As for me personally, I'm also going to be pulling for Camille. And I might have to skip Mifu. I originally like kind of want Mifu. I thought she would be like the same team with Zhuang Fangyi. But 2 reasons are making me not want to roll for Mifu. One is that she just replaces physical Enmin, and I do want to like main and play physical Enmin. And also he's like right before Camille, so I'm just gonna be saving my free-to-play currency for Camille. So I'm probably skipping Mifu. That's my decision. So other than that, should you even pull for either of these two? Maybe we should like skip for like save for a future character. Now, we don't have any more information further, but some sources are saying it's going to be the Li Zhiyan Arcane or the green hair girl. And also that idol character, that TT. So you have an idea of what the next characters are. I don't think Artist Share is coming out anytime soon. So you can make your decision, Mifu, Camille, green hair girl, or Li Zhiyan Arcane or idol character. And out of these 5, I think a lot of people are probably going to go for Camille. So that's my analysis and discussion on the pool analysis for Mifu and Camille. Let me know in the comments what y'all think and who you're going to be pulling. And I'll see y'all next time.